Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. I would like you to join me listening to the facts and the lies a former NPP member, lawyer Danquah, has also brought out of Nana Addo's Nation's Address speech, which I would like you to join me listening to it into detail. Please do leave a comment relevant to the topic. Thank you.
Lawyer, where's your?
So, let's take this opportunity to wish your lovely viewers Happy New Year. I think this my first time on the show.
Yes.
Wow. First time since after the election. Let me wish yourself Happy New Year. I met my big brother on Wednesday, so I've met him, but I'll wish him Happy New Year once again. Wish Honorable here Happy New Year and congratulations on a good victory. Always a privilege to be in the company of Uncle Kwesi Pratt. Hope that together we can do justice to this topic, which really, my view, requires the whole day. And then if you are going to make an analysis of certainly what has been the worst presidency, arguably in the history of this country, but certainly what I've seen, and the State of the Nation address reflected his character, vile propagandists, and I think somewhere he said that people who contrary to what the propagandists are saying concerning our economy, so he's saying the right issues, and so really, I think it's a topic that vexes me. I need to have to speak about. And it really does what the topic essentially is asking us to talk about the legacy of Nana Addo, because it being his last State of the Nation address, really, it was taxing him to speak about what his legacy is, and really his legacy, in my view, is a legacy of a broken political system, a legacy of a broken economic system, a legacy of the introduction of a very vile political culture into this country, a legacy of a wanton destruction of the environmental integrity of our country, a legacy of a fundamental attack of the principles that governs Ghana's international relations. Because when you talk about this Sahel issue and the fact that Guinea and Mali are leaving ECOWAS, and you understand that when you talk about Guinea and Mali, you are talking about Ghana. No, I'm not even working for so. I don't talk about Guinea and Mali and the special relationship that ought to exist between Guinea, Mali, and Ghana. You understand? To extend that when in the state of the history of Africa, when there was a push for an African unity, you had a team led by Ghana, ably supported by Guinea and Mali, calling for the total unity of Africa. So if Guinea and Mali right now are leaving ECOWAS, and you have the president of Ghana, and he didn't. In fact, it is a fundamental reflection of his failure also in terms of his foreign policy. I'm not even going to talk about the Palestine, his view on the Israel, but just Mali and Guinea. You understand? So if we should go on and on and on, trust me, the 20 minutes we are going to talk here won't give us enough time to do justice to this calamity of leadership, which we should all ensure never happens to this country again. Now, you see, from the starting point ought to be, first of all, we gave him a job in 2017. Because we understand that when it comes to you being president, it's really a contract that the board of Ghana signs with you. So we gave him a job, and you can't do a very good analysis unless you juxtapose what he did as against the terms of reference we gave him and what he himself said when he wanted to do the job when he was campaigning. So what were his terms of reference? So his terms of reference, in my view, broadly, will be two. One, the first being the terms of reference we gave him in the Constitution itself, the directive principles of state policy. That should be his first terms of reference. And the second terms of reference would be the oath he took. So the two broadly are one. And the last one will be what he himself said. You know, he said a lot of things before he became president. He espoused the principle of the Hattarization of the city. City na hatta. So I'm bringing Dr. Baumia so he will make the city strong. At that time when he said that, when he propounded the principle of the Hattarization of the city was about $1 was about 3 point something cedi. Today is struggling as is hovering around 15, 16, 17. You let me be charitable to him. Let me give him 15. You let me be very charitable. You understand? And you do the simple analysis and you say he's failed massively, and Dr. Baumia, they failed massively. You get the picture. What he himself said. I'm going to put the presidency on the line. You all know what he said. So let's take it step by step. Yesterday, Stranger was when he was making his speech, I think he had the courage to talk about his vision. If I was Addo, I would not be even talking about my vision again, having been given the opportunity. How many people, you see, we all love Ghana, we all have a vision for Ghana. How many people would get the privilege of getting real power to effect the vision to make Ghana better? How many people will ever get the opportunity? Since Ghana was founded, how many people have had that opportunity? He is on another fund in a very privileged position. Because see, all of us, we sit and we talk, I want Ghana to be there, I want Ghana, but we don't have that power. Yes, all we can do is to do a little. But he and Addo was given proper power within the context of this constitution that makes the president so powerful. And in his first term, he had a remarkable majority. So really, he shouldn't be talking about his vision because he's had the opportunity. So my vision has always been to see Ghana that is self-reliant, self-reliant. He's had eight years. When he wanted to be president, he was talking about transformation. 1D, 1F, and one constituency, 1 million. What's it called? It spoke out and beautiful things. You understand? But once again, Addo, no commitment. He just talks. For him, Kasa and Frama, he just talks. No commitment. When he's put to the vote, he doesn't do. He just talks. No commitment, because he had the power of fiscal policy. He said we want to transform the economy. 1D, 1F. How much money did he put there? About 400 million Ghana, and he spent close to 5 billion on what's it called? On NAPCO, very useless program. You understand? So now that program, that failure, you understand, that misuse of her fiscal policy has ensured that we are more reliant than ever. Were you not worried? When the EC madam was declaring the results, we had the ambassador of the US, had the High Commissioner of UK there. When I saw them, I felt like we were being recolonized. And honestly speaking, I feel like we were being recolonized. But why won't we be recolonized? When we are practically beggars, we are practically beggars. You get the picture. What does Economy 101 say? Economy 101 says that the safest place to put your monies is the government bonds. Safest place. Under the watch of Addo, that Economy 101 principle has been what? Breached. Yes, so he shouldn't be talking to us about vision. You see, even just his vision alone, that small part alone can be a discussion for the whole day. But don't let us lose focus. Let's go to his terms of reference. The first term of reference under the directive principle of state policy was to create a Ghana politically where you get true democracy. And true democracy is not just power of the people, but true democracy is also power by the people and for the people. That is true democracy. We also saw the report of the last Afrobarometer report. The majority of Ghanaians said that they did not believe that almost less than 47% had confidence in democracy. Two, you saw if there's one thing, something that was significant in the last elections, was that about the close to 40% of Ghanaians who voted with their feet. Close to 40, it was 39 point something percent. But close to 40% of Ghanaians who voted with their feet. Were you not concerned? So when you consider the purpose for democracy, under his watch, we have seen unprecedented attacks on the rule of law, even with how he's handled matters in his own party. Even in terms of how he's handled things in his own party. Because when we're talking about meeting the political aspiration of Ghana, it means that you have a responsibility as the president of Ghana, as the leader of Ghana, to create the right political culture. And he's created a political culture that is very parochial. Yes, I know I was not supposed to come here because I know you didn't vote for me. So it doesn't matter that in spite of the oath I took, that I'm going to dedicate myself to the well-being of all Ghanaians. And all Ghanaians means Ghanaians that support NPP, Ghanaians that support NDC, Ghanaians that are Muslim, Ghanaians that are Christian, all manner of people. Ghanaians that are Achems, but Ghanaians that are also Ashantis, Ghanaians that are Gans, because we are all Ghanaian. In spite of that, Addo did not see I don't want to use some very terrible words, but you see, he didn't have any qualms to look straight in the eyes of the people of NPP and by extension the people of Ghana, that because people didn't vote for me, I didn't have to be here. I didn't have to be here. He went to the Kofi and told them, I renege on my responsibility towards you because you didn't vote for my MP. He owns MPs. So when we've taken upon a system, that's why the parliamentarians are supposed to serve as a check on the executive. And you start owning MPs, and so that culture is creeping in. The executive thing that he owns MPs. Went to Addo and told them that, listen, if you don't vote for my MP, forget. You can't come and discuss with me about development. What kind of political culture is this? Then your cabinet minister has the cojones to attempt to purchase public property. And I didn't hear a word from the president. When eventually he spoke, what did he say? That the employment minister should go and discuss. See, when your cabinet minister is taking steps whose impact is to directly take away from the belief the people have in leadership. Because see, when we give you our powers and you are using those powers to buy government property, you take away the confidence we have in that system. But the president didn't see the sense to sack the minister, because when the minister does what he attempted to do, really he's causing you, the president, to breach your oath to be faithful to Ghana. Under the presidency of this president of Addo, the principle of meritocracy was thrown into the dustbin. Were you not concerned when the interior minister said that he was going to give slots? When you have a security agency where your entry is based on slots, the principle of slotism. That's not the proper slot is an slot. He's the proper slot. This one slot, and see, when the NPP people, when they were doing their parliamentary what's it called, primaries, the most used word was slots. When I'm going to give you slots, I'll give you slots. You see, having failed to create a system where we create jobs, they brought in the concept of slotism, slots. And so in our security agencies, very critical agencies, slots. So we saw that failure, that system they've created in how security was provided during the last elections. So So if you had an NPP person and your president is in power, and you say that certain declarations were made based on duress, is it not a concession of failure? Addo himself said in this speech that the number one duty of states is to provide security. So if during an election, your own people are saying, listen, we won, but the declarations made were illegal because they were made under, when you say duress, I hope you understand what it means, that we were forced. In fact, if I have to be technical, at the point of death or a fear that you are a threat that you are going to be attacked physically. So then where were the security agencies? Myself, I had the unfortunate experience of falling into mayhem in Addo. Personally, they were burning some buildings, and you could there were police people just standing there, didn't have a clue how to handle the confusion. That's what you get when appointments into the security agencies are based on slaughtism. But this happened at Nanado's watch. Addo didn't see the wisdom in appointing people who are perceived to be neutral onto the EC. He didn't. And so that singular irresponsible act caused the people of Ghana to lose confidence in the ability of the EC to deliver elections which were free and fair, which will be free and fair. And that's why you saw an unbelievable reawakening of the spirit of vigilantism. Because people didn't trust in the EC. Because the idea is that go and vote and go home. But we'll do that if we trust in the ability of the EC to deliver free and fair elections. But nobody believed them. Who caused them? Because when he became president, he didn't understand that he was president for Ghana. He was not president for his NPP. He was president for Ghana, and that he took an oath to be faithful to Ghana. That is the legacy. That's the Ghana he's left. He's living. He's left a Ghana that has become increasingly very tribal, very tribal. And he led his party. What was their sole consideration for the choice they made? They're going to choose president. Your consideration is that he comes from Mamprussi, and because he comes from Mamprussi, he can do. I want to create one Ghana, one strong Ghana. And if you compare Ghana today to Ghana at any point in our history, we are increasingly becoming very tribal and very regional. So we are not a federal country. We are not a federal country. And what has been its impact on decentralization? Because the only way you can achieve real power by the people, to include the people in governance, in decision making, is to have proper decentralization. Even school feeding is centralized. Even school feeding is centralized. Even school feeding is highly central. Everything is central. Everything is central. So right now, people. In fact, I've heard a lot of NPP people coming out, and Addo has done this. I say, really. So suddenly you found courage. You suddenly found courage. But I understand them in a way, because he managed to create that parochial political culture that meant that your sole consideration for any decision you made was what is in it for me. So people think about it, Charlie, if I go and criticize this man, I'll be hungry. You understand? He's talking about what's it called, the energy sector, and he lied in his. Have you seen the energy sector recovery program, the report? Now they laid down the focus of that program. The focus was that by 2023 Ghana should come to what we call financial viability, and they defined what financial viability meant. That at that point, debts will be paid, and the cost of producing energy, which should be more than the cost of selling. Addo says that he has changed he conveniently changed and said that World Bank are saying that we would have gotten a debt of 8 billion. That statement was made after the failure to implement that energy sector recovery program. So in terms of the political what's called benchmark we gave him. He's supervised and led a system where right now political leadership has lost credibility in Ghana. So about 7 million of our compatriots would rather sit at home rather than go and waste their time in picking anybody because they don't trust in the system. You talk about the economy. People collectively lost $12 billion. Contrary to the propaganda the finance minister has been going around saying that they've saved Ghana $12 billion by reason of the DDEP. He's explained him. He's now become a Lister Campbell. Because the other side of the story is that people, pensioners, people who believed in the Ghanaian economy, having invested $12 billion, can't have access to those monies. Can't have access to those. Do you know the impact of that? The economy's credibility is gone. Just check the FDI, what's called the foreign direct investment inflows into Ghana from 2015. Just check. And if you had any doubt about the strength of our economy, in 2015 we had 3.19 billion in FDIs. 2016 3.490. Since then, when I took over from 2017, it's been dropping to the extent that in 2023 we had just 1.32 billion. You understand? 2022 1.4, 2021 2.5, 2021 1.8. Yeah, you understand? And we see when you talk about the state of the economy, you talk about the confidence that people have in your economy. That is the state of our economy. And the dollar, he said about Mahmoud Bawumia gave us a principle that you can do all the propaganda you want. If your economy, the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. At that time, it was about 3 cedis. Indeed, and I do even say something that even convincing that for when it comes to commitment and integrity, zero. Do you recall that in 2012, Nana on the campaign platform said, under President Kufuor, $1, 1 cedi. Under Mahama Emils, $1, 2 cedis. And that he and Addo would have expected that they do what? They resign. And that the reason they have not resigned is what? The envelope. The fat envelope under the table. Now he became president. The dollar went to what's it called? He went to 17 cedis at some point. Why did he not resign? I can just imagine the size of the envelope under the table. From what he himself said, I can imagine that it would be a normal envelope. It would be a gargantuan envelope. Yeah, he said, because if $1, 2 cedis, you expect people to resign and they didn't resign, and you are saying that they didn't resign because of some envelope under the table, and you went all the way to 15 and you failed to resign, then that envelope will be gargantuan. No respect for principle and value. No respect for principle and value. Everything, he said, I want Ghana to be self-reliant, and everything is easy. I'll protect the public purse. I'll protect the public. Then he just went and opened the public purse ajar. Enter and take what you want and go. He's left a country that is broken. He didn't give leadership. You see, we think leadership. You see, so you are president of Ghana. That's the position now. But really, you are the leader of Ghana. If you go through history and you wonder how people have used leadership to change the culture, the mindset of their people, I always say this: the Europeans, essentially the British, the Irish who left Britain, England, Ireland, Scotland, and went to America, were not the nobles. They were not the nobles. They were the people who are at the bottom of the feudal system being practiced in Europe. Now, so are you wondering what caused them? What kind of leadership caused them to forge arguably the greatest nation on the face of this earth? Have you wondered? The kind of leadership that causes people to have the belief that if we put our mind to something, we can achieve it. and the ecosystem, the environment, the economic environment, the political environment that ensured that they have evidence, fiscal evidence of people who have succeeded based on they having the belief that if we do A, B, C, D, we are going to succeed. You take Australia. Are you aware that Australia is populated by convicts? Australia, you see where Australia is? You see down under. The country is practically what's called desert, wilderness. If you want all the poisonous snakes in the world, to Australia. And yet these people who are descendants of convicts have managed to build a very powerful nation. You take Russia. You take before Lenin and took over. Because Russia, there was a Russian revolution in 1917 in the midst of the Second World War. And when you read the history about the Slavic people, they are not people who are warlike, but because of right leadership, by 1945, Russia was a world superpower. Soviet Union was a world superpower. I don't like using Hitler as an example because of the negative impact of the influence of his influence. But after the First World War, the German people were broken. They were broken. Their confidence was gone. Within 10 years, less than a decade, Hitler managed to get people to believe that they were the most powerful people in the world. That is leadership. That is leadership. And you see, I have a problem with this procurement leadership we are doing. And it was Agenda 111. You see, the focus of Agenda 111 was just to do something so people can get easy money. Easy money. And Addo didn't offer any leadership. You see the menace of the Galamsey issue. And the disappointing bit is that he, being an astute lawyer, ought to understand the burden that is placed on you when a trust is created in you. So in spite of the trust having been created in him, he sat down and has caused the river bodies in Ghana. And history, and this isn't even about history. We all know that the river bodies constitute the basis for the formation of large communities. You understand? You sat down and allowed our river bodies to be poisoned by cyanide, by arsenic, by lead. I'm very happy that a medical doctor is saying he explained further the impact of these chemicals in your system. They don't leave. He sat down and he allowed this to happen to us. This existential threat. And so conveniently in his statement, in his speech, he just mentioned about prayer. Then he swerved. He didn't even talk about Galamsey. He didn't really talk about the Galamsey. He swerved. Started talking about how because of something is done, we are not the number one producers of good and all those badadash. Your people are dying. People's livelihoods have been impacted. The MPs who lost their seats in those areas didn't lose because he didn't fight against Galamsey in the first place. They lost their seats because of the impact Galamsey had on the livelihoods of the people. Indeed, that's what is in the report of Professor Frimpong Boateng. And I believe Professor Frimpong Boateng any day over Nana Addo. Because if you take away the presidency and you analyze their personal life, what they've done in their professional life, you can't and Nana Addo can't lace prof laces. But in spite of that report, the report that he refused to even consider, he sat on the report for 2 years. Then the question you ask yourself, so why did he want to become president in the first place? Was it because of Ghana? Was it because of Ghana? Was evidence based on the kind of leadership he gave us? You understand? Clearly tells me that he wanted to become president for a different agenda which obviously was adverse to a collective agenda. And if the writings in the Japade book is anything to consider, and I believe in the writings, they can call me whatever names they want. I mean, then I dare say that the reason why he wanted to become president was to pursue a very parochial agenda rather than a Ghana agenda. You understand? And that agenda, because of that agenda, he did not care about the country. Obviously did not care about his party. He obviously did not care about the party because he's destroyed the party. He's destroyed the soul, the spirit, the character of the party. And the party must find a way of becoming, of rising from the ashes. There's a huge job there, unlike to you. There's a huge job to restore the spirit of the party. There's a huge job to convince the people of Ghana that the NPP party represents the values of this country. There's a huge job there. Like one bad choice by the NPP and by Ghanaians have led to a country that is broken. A country that is broken. And and you see that broken spirit in most of the NPP people. The kind of I'll use traps. Is this all grapes? Because you see, we want to build the right political culture. That right political culture means that we should build a system where we tolerate disagreements and we hold leadership accountable. His Excellency Mahama can't fail. Now, he can't fail doesn't mean that you agree with everything he does, but he can't fail also means that it is our collective responsibility in supporting his leadership to criticize decisions, to critique decisions. But as all the things being said, and even on the floor of, but that already suggests that, listen, we are waiting for you to fail, because that's the kind of feedback some of us are picking. That's not augur well for the country. And if you've managed to become president, and if you love the country and you're a patriot, then genuinely you should want the next president to succeed. So listen, for me, the positive I take from Addo's leadership is at least we have evidence of what can befall us as a people where we make that wrong choice, where we do not choose the right people, where we put into the high office of president, to the high office of the leader of Ghana, people who ordinarily should not even be considered as headmaster for Kotobabi 1 and 2 JSS. When you make those people president, then they are going to break your country. They are going to leave a very weak country. They are going to leave a country that has departed from all its values and all its principles. At least we know what will be before us. And we must understand that in building a nation, the job is on every single Ghanaian. It's on every single Ghanaian. And all required from our leaders is to give us direction, is to show commitment, is to prove that he will be a father for all, is to show an abundance of commitment to our constitution, to the principles of the rule of law. And that's the kind of restoration we are asking of John Mahama. And Mahama can't do this unless we all support him. And I'm saying the support shouldn't be a support of sycophancy, but the support should be a support of honest criticisms, constructive ones. I believe that when we do that, when we all put our shoulders to the wheel, when we put partisanship where it ought to be, and know when we are partisan and when we ought to be patriotic, then we can all come together. NPP people, NDC people, Movement of Change people, PNP people, all Ghanaians, Ashantis, Achems, Mampusis, Frafras, all of us can come together as one people and begin the process that will cause the restoration of Ghana as the Black Star of Africa. That's the call on all of us, and it's a call that we must succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one thing, when you're talking about the president's comments on the sales of hotels, I think one thing went under the radar. His real comments actually came a few months after the opposition has succeeded, and that was in August 2024. He was speaking at the 12th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of the Trade Union Congress, and this is what he says. He said the improved performance of SNEET, which recently in all success says that's 230 million on its operations. This should be reassuring to organized labor and perhaps bring into sharper relief the unnecessary controversy that was recently generated by SNEET's efforts to offload non-performing assets in its hotel portfolio. It is my understanding that the transaction that was aborted represented the only occasion in the recent history of SNEET that external investors sought to invest in SNEET holdings. All of us need to be measured when it comes to making decisions and pronouncements that will affect the long-term interest of the pensioners. Everything he saw it as unnecessary. So all the issues that was being raised were necessary to him. Well, a few comments from those of you who are joining us. I'm reading from our WhatsApp line. The number is displayed across the screen: 0559919802. Maxwell in Klagon says, "Good morning. Please, the MP on your panel has truly stated the actual statistics on the free SHS position. The president has been lying and even hesitating to still on same." Okay, there are two MPs on my panel this morning, and I guess you're talking about Hajia. Some more comments from those of you who are joining us and watching us. Jonathan Dokeno from Akaji says, Akufo-Addo was graced with constitutional opportunity yesterday to at least create some level of positive memory on the minds of some Ghanaians by apologizing for all the mess he superintended over. Unfortunately, and as usual, he took same to be a political platform and sadly launched NPP's campaign ahead of the next general elections. May we never have any president like Akufo-Addo in the history of Ghana. Jonathan, thank you very much. There's also Joe, who is in Agbogba, says, "Hi lawyer, your submission on the SONA is super." There's also this one coming from Ni Mensah at Spintex Road. So naturally, Mr. Akufo-Addo failed the game for the opportunity to apologize to us. But I take solace from the way Honorable Ama Bua responded to him, which didn't go well with Madam Rebecca, and so refused to shake hands with the Honorable. All the same, we bid them farewell. Ni, thank you very much for your comment. Some more. This one says, please, over the last 10 years, all students who have written BEC are not up to 5.7 million. So where did they get that number as beneficiaries of free SHS or TVET in 8 years? This can easily be ascertained by the media from WAEC. It's disrespectful for the education minister to be lying and misleading the president to repeat same. Prof sent that from Tema. Prof, thank you for your comment. This is from Ibrahim Mbudri Diba, I hope I got the name from Tamale, who says, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo should spare us with the rhetorics. He is a scam president in the history of this country. Do you remember what he said? I will protect the public purse. I'm incorruptible. I will not run family and friends government. And what are we seeing today? Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for that comment. And then, yes, okay. Thank you. This was not meant for me. There's this one says the outgoing president's declaration that the economy of the country is not broke was whimsical and untrue. It is not again saying that the economy is junk. The operation recover or loot would not have been in place if the economy is doing well. The president should talk about the petition presented by Professor Frimpong Boateng on the personalities in his government who masterminded the illegal mining menace. The excruciating economic predicaments facing us as a people is as a result of recklessness and nepotism. We want to know how much did the e-levy generate and what the money has been used for. The sycophantic and boot leaking should stop. Baba Gomda sent that from Kumbogo. Baba, good morning and thank you very much for that comments. Some more. This one from Kofi Nakachi, who says, with education we have gone back. Only TVET. He tried, but placed square pegs in round holes. Most of the district municipal directors were party faithfuls, which they played with arrogance. Education got here because of his administration, and we teachers will never forget this government and his veranda boys. Kofi sent that from Akachi clearly, and I'm happy teacher. Good morning for sending. Thank you very much for sending those comments you're sending to us. I'll read some more.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciate and cherish your time on the channel. Stay tuned for more.
PENDREAM TV now so far so good. Say open online portal Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.